Welcome back. Look at Bitcoin. 85,000. Still holding strong. We are one day away from Liberation Day. That's right. Tomorrow's a big day, and Bitcoin is still holding very strong because Bitcoin is the greatest asset that we have, and it's really good, really encouraging to see that Wall Street, long-term holders, retail investors, everyone in between, not panicking, not panic dumping Bitcoin at this junction. Despite the tariffs, despite the FUD, despite all the uncertainty, Bitcoin is holding strong, and that's fantastic. Okay, not just for Bitcoin, a lot of the alts today actually held, and today's the second day. I told you guys yesterday, I was pleasantly surprised that yesterday we didn't have a big sell-off. Today, same thing. Look at today. I know most of you guys been watching the market today. NASDAQ actually ended up in the green. S&P also, and Dow barely in the red. So today was also a very good day. People are not so fearful about the tariffs, which, of course, are coming tomorrow. According to Trump, they're going to be effective immediately. Rumors are 20%, basically, okay? Blanket 20% across the board for all countries. That's the latest. But again, who knows? Yesterday, Benson basically said 15% to 30-15, or not 15%, the 15 countries that we do trade the most with, they will be tariffed. That may change. It could be just every country out there, a blanket 20% tariff. We don't know. But it seems like Wall Street is warming up to the idea that this is going to happen no matter what. And long-term, tariffs could be a good thing. So that's why we're not seeing these massive sell-offs anymore. We're actually seeing gains. We're actually seeing greens at this point, right? And that's terrific, especially for Bitcoin and crypto right now. I mean, that's what's really important, to see Bitcoin, again, the best asset that we have, the strongest asset that we have, remain strong, and seeing so many encouraging things happen right now. For example, GameStop. Okay, GameStop recently announced that they were going to, they got the approval from the board that they're going to start buying Bitcoin. Okay, they just raised $1.5 billion from their convertible note sale, and now they're ready to buy $1.5 billion worth of cash, and they could be buying anytime. So they basically took the playbook from Saylor, raised a whole bunch of money, and they're getting ready to buy. And they can continue to do this. Keep in mind, Saylor just bought $2 billion yesterday, and he continues to buy more and more and more and more. Saylor already owns more than 2% of the supply, probably more than 3% at this point. And someone like GameStop obviously can continue to do this as well. And many others can continue to do this too, like MetaPlanet, for example, just added another $67 million to the Bitcoin. They're doing a 10-to-1 stock split because their stock is so hot, and their overall plans to add 21,000 Bitcoin by 2026. So many are doing this, and this is very encouraging, very positive, right, for Bitcoin. Not just because it's GameStop, because we have so much adoption at this point from major publicly traded companies, one after another, and not just from companies. We also have major endorsements now, right, from very influential people. Obviously, Trump, we know Trump is all about Bitcoin. We have a Bitcoin reserve, and now you have the Trump family that is also very, very bullish. Yesterday, I covered how Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., they're working with Hut 8, and they're coming up with one of the greatest Bitcoin mining farms there will be. Okay, and today, Eric Trump goes out and says Bitcoin is one of the greatest store of values there is. It's not one of the greatest store of values. It is the greatest store of value. I've been saying this time and time again. Just look at the performance of Bitcoin. You go back a year, you go back 2 years, you go back 3 years, you go back 5 years, you go back 10 years. Nothing outperforms Bitcoin in the long run. That's why it's the greatest store of value, it's the greatest hedge against inflation. If you're looking at it week to week, day to day, month to month, sure. Okay, there will be better performers. But if you expand your time horizon, you'll realize that Bitcoin is the best investment there is because of the scarcity factor and because it is the greatest. It's decentralized. It's not controlled by anyone or any entity or any country. No one can stop it. There are so many inherent greatness or good things about Bitcoin that makes it so good, right? So despite all the stuff that's happening right now, we still have a lot of accumulation. In fact, right now, we have long-term holders that are buying so much, they're offsetting the sellers, the short-term sellers, right? We see this often. Short-term retail investors or just, short-term investors, the ones that bought within the last few months, they bought at top, they're not aware of what's happening, they're panicking, and, whenever there's bad news, they tend to sell. Some on Wall Street are selling, they don't like what they're seeing, they're afraid of the tariffs. For whatever reason, there are a lot of people that are selling. But the long-term investors, the ones that understand, and plus the new institutions, the new companies like GameStop now and MetaPlanet and many others, the ones that understand, they're loading up. That's exactly what's happening. That's why Bitcoin remains strong, and it will get through this. It always does. It gets through all the volatility, all the consolidation, all the negativity, and it just gets through. It always does. So just look at it, right? We go through a lot of these fuddish times. You can call them bear traps, because eventually what happens is we get through them and we form a new high. So essentially they are bear traps because it makes the bears think that, hey, this is a good time to short. This is a good time to spread some FUD. But eventually what happens is Bitcoin picks itself back up and forms a new high, and it always does. Right now is one of those times because of the macro conditions, because of the tariff, all the tariff scariness, all the stuff that's happening, right? But we'll get through it and continue forward. There are a lot of great things happening, a lot of accumulation. I also saw this too, Tether. A lot of people do not know that Tether uses a portion of their profits every quarter to buy Bitcoin. And they make so much money. They buy a crazy amount of Bitcoin every single quarter now. They just bought close to 9,000 Bitcoin this last quarter, and now they hold 7.8 billion in Bitcoin. They bought close to 800 million this last quarter. And that's only a small fraction of their profit. Just take a second to think about that. They're one of the largest holders of Bitcoin, right? So besides just the new institutions and new public trade companies that are loading up, you still have a lot of long-term holders like Tether that are loading up behind the scenes as well. There's only so much Bitcoin to go around, guys. Okay, and someone like, not going to sell. They have so much money. It's in their best interest Bitcoin forever, and they will continue to buy more and more and more and more and more. And you know what? Their biggest competitor, Circle, is also growing by leaps and bounds right now with all the talk about stablecoins in the U.S. and the favorable regulations and everything else that's happening. They're going IPO. They're going to have an IPO this month. They're going to raise a whole bunch of money. They're going to grow USDC, and hey, maybe they follow in the footsteps of Tether, and they're going to take a small portion of their profits and buy Bitcoin with it as well. That would be very awesome. If they did that, I think that would buy them a lot of good press. Yeah, hopefully they do. Hopefully they do. All right, guys, that is it. As always, there are so many good things happening with Bitcoin. Tomorrow will be a huge, huge day. If the tariff stuff tomorrow on Liberation Day isn't as bad as it seems, tomorrow could be a huge rally day. Right? So far, yesterday and today has been surprising. I actually thought both days were going to be a red. I was wrong. Both days turned out to be good. And again, it seems like Wall Street has kind of priced in that the tariffs are going to happen no matter what. They're probably not going to be as bad as it seems. And if the tariffs come in according to expectations, which is about 20% all around, and it doesn't come in any worse, it could be the start of a huge rally because everything is so oversold. And that would be absolutely fantastic, guys. Really fantastic. So, stay strong, my friends. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Smash with a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. All right, bye-bye.